All right, this is the point where things get really exciting. It's the part where yoga transcends from a physical experience to a true connection between the body and the mind. It's what separates yoga from other forms of exercise. It's so simple, and yet it's so complex. Are you ready? The secret to yoga is the breath.
I like to think of it this way. Now, if you look at Patanjali in the Yoga Sutras, he starts this 8-limb path with the yamas and the niyamas, which is our philosophical path of the self-discipline, inner and outer, right? And then he moves to asana. So he says you can't even practice asana until you've had some kind of contemplation and discipline in your life. But then after asana, which is the 3rd limb, you come to pranayama, which is your breath, right? So for me, you really don't even start practicing yoga till you get to the breath.
Pranayama, conscious control of the breath, the 4th limb of the 8-limb path. This is where the magic happens. Think about it. We go through most days taking short, shallow, unconscious breaths, but the breath is what fills our bodies with life. You can go for a few weeks without food, maybe a week or so without water, but go without the breath for about 90 seconds and you're going to have some serious problems. As a beginner, I had no connection with the breath. My teacher encouraged it, but I was always too busy trying to get into the perfect pose. My mind was scattered and I couldn't concentrate on the breath. One day, I was able to get into a pose without much conscious thought, so I thought I'd give this breath thing a try. My mind finally slowed down, I relaxed, I concentrated on my breath, and the magic happened.
Breath is yoga, and so if you're not breathing correctly when you're practicing the asanas, you're really not practicing, the full spectrum of the practice.
Remember the definition of the word yoga? Union, the connection between mind, body, and soul. The breath is the link between the mind and the body. And the first time I ever experienced this was the defining moment of my life in yoga. I felt like I opened a window to a new world of peace and infinite space. And I started to realize what the fuss was all about.
Some of the deeper realizations that you'll have about your breath don't come from anybody telling you what to do. It's just simply when you are given the opportunity to observe your own breath and feel your own feelings, you will find your way to the truth.
There's a breathing technique that we use. It's called Ujjayi breath, and here's how you do it. There's a slight constriction in the back of the throat. You inhale deeply through the nose, hold it for a moment, and exhale deeply through the nose. This slight constriction in the throat actually helps to get more air into the lungs, and the sound is almost hypnotic. It's very relaxing. Here's what it sounds like. This mind-body connection is truly where yoga takes off. When taken a step further, combining Ujjayi breath with movement, the yoga practice goes to another level. Inhaling on the expansions, exhaling on the contractions. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. This is where the magic of yoga happens. A true connection between the body and the mind. When I'm deep into this practice, my only thought is on the breath. Inhale, exhale. When I'm truly experiencing this connection between mind and the body through the breath, the remaining 4 limbs of the 8-limb path are wide open. The 5th limb, pratyahara, control of the senses. During a yoga practice, I'm able to separate from the senses. An advanced yogi can do a whole practice with his eyes closed because you don't really need to look at anything. And this takes us to the next level, dharana, concentration. All I'm thinking about is my next breath. Which takes us to the next step, dhyana, meditation. The practice turns into a moving meditation, a true connection between the body and the mind. Inhale, exhale. My mind has slowed down. I'm really not thinking about anything except the next breath. At the end of a long practice, it's time for the most important position in yoga. Yes, you've seen this one before, Shavasana. The first stage is just lying down. The mind is still just concentrating on the breath. But the next stage really goes deeper. Letting go. Completely letting go. Surrendering to a higher power. When I first lay down, I check in to see where I'm holding tension, maybe in my jaw, or my shoulders, or my hips, and I just completely let go. Surrender. Melting into the earth. Samadhi. The 8th limb of the 8-limb path. So think about it. All 8 limbs of the 8-limb path are realized in one yoga practice. And this can happen for me whether I'm practicing at the YMCA or if I'm taking a master class from a renowned yogi. This is the magic carpet ride I get to experience every time I step on the mat. In 2009, I was ready to take my practice to the next level. I became a registered teacher, and my wife and I opened our own studio.